Hello and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today we're going to answer a very important question related to level 1. And it is all about all three of the areas of our focus, which is self-reliance, food security, and emergency preparedness. So that question goes to all three things. We have spent a lot of time lately talking about level 1 preparedness. We're really focusing on it. In fact, here is my new book, almost ready for publication, not quite. I'm giving copies, well, don't tell my children, but they're getting this for Christmas as one of their gifts. This is Advanced Prep for 60 Days of Meals, Integrating Your Freezer, Refrigerator, and Pantry. And it will be launched for our after Christmas sale when Jim has his birthday sale. And that will start on the 27th of December. So I talk about this very question in this book and give some answers. And today we're going to really talk thoroughly about how we can answer this, how we answer this in our own household. And that is, if it is so important that we have 60 days of meals using our freezer and refrigerator, how on earth are we going to power them if the grid goes down long term? And several of you have asked us that very question, and I've kind of put it off because I wanted to do this video. So what we have in our home is that our home is wired completely separately from our garage. So the setup that we have to keep 4 of our rooms in power during a long-term power outage doesn't work for the garage. We have a propane generator. It's not a great big expensive one. It's one that will power 4 rooms comfortably in our home, and it is powered by propane from our big tank. And one of those rooms is the kitchen, so I have access to a refrigerator that will still keep cool for as long as we have propane. Now, we also like redundancy systems, and so about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, we started acquiring solar power stations. And we had a terrible false start with an EcoZoom that completely died on us after about 3 months. And our interaction with their customer service was horrible. They tried to bribe us with $100 to change the rating that we gave them on Amazon. We told the whole story on Amazon because we purchased it through Amazon. And at that time, I did a little bit more in-depth research and found Bluetti. I could not be more thrilled with Bluettis. Jim and I both think that these are just the best out there. And so do a lot of other people too. We really highly recommend them. They are in our Amazon store. And right now, even though it is past Black Friday, they're still running really good sales. So I want to introduce you quickly to our Bluetti family. So right here is Baby Blue. This we call Baby Blue. It does 268 watt hours. And it will handle appliances up to 600 watts. And this is just a little workhorse. When our power goes out, as it often does, I will power all of my computer desk with everything that I have there, including the printer with Baby Blue. And it is called the EB3A. This one is EB70S, and this one we call Jim's Bluetti. And it is a little more powerful. It has 716 watt hours, and it will handle appliances up to 800 watts. He powers everything in his office with this, including a shredder, a paper shredder, and a monitor and his computers and his iPad and everything else that he wants. And so this also is a little workhorse. My daughter and son-in-law are building a cabin in the mountains of New Mexico. And we lent this to them this summer when they were up there doing their building, and they did a lot of recharging of their things on this as well and said that it just worked great. Then over here we have what we call Big Blue, and this is the AC200 Max. It has 2048 watt hours, 2048 watt hours, and it will power things up to 2200 watts. So this is huge. This is a big workhorse. We can power anything in our house with this. but it weighs 60 pounds. These, both of us can carry around very easily. This one we have connected to a cart. We've taken it off the cart to put up here so you can see it. And all of them run on solar. All of them also will do what is called pass-through charging, which means we can have them connected to solar while at the same time powering a refrigerator. So solar power fills up the battery, and then the battery is drained by whatever amount a refrigerator or any other appliance needs. So it's really nice to have that pass-through power. It also is powered by electric wall socket, and in fact, we can have solar recharging going on at the same time that we have wall socket recharging going on. This takes about 4 hours to recharge. Notice the hole right here. So we go from 800 watts to 2200 watts. That's huge, and that's a big deficit. And for a long, long time, people were wanting Bluetti to make one that fits right here. Well, they finally did, and it was announced this summer, and we got ours on Black Friday for an amazing price. This is our new AC 180, and it has 1152 watt hours and 1800 watts. It will power anything up to 1800. So we go from 800 to 1800 to 2200 in terms of watts. And so it's really now a good progression for us. And all 4 of these are now in our Amazon store, and they are on amazing deals right now. We paid $2,000 for this one over a year ago. Its regular price is now $1,600. So it's come down, and I'm not sure about any good buys on this one, but this one still is on really good buys. We bought it on Black Friday in a package deal with 420 watts of solar panels. I'm going to talk about solar panels in just a minute. This one is also on sale. This one is also on sale. I think there's a $90 coupon if you want to buy one of these. It's one of these. I can't remember which one. I just looked at them this morning, but I don't remember. But if you get them on Amazon, it just has a little box that you click if you want a $90 off coupon. And they take that right off the price, so you can check that out. This is amazing. This one will power our trailer. You can see the big flap over there. It has a 30 amp, but this one is such a perfect middle one. And we bought this one with in mind of powering our 2 freezers that are out in the garage. So we're going to go test that right now to see if it works. I have, when we first started with Baby Blue and then we bought Jim's, we bought regular solar panels, the 100-watt solar panels that you can just get for cheap right now. They're between $80 and $90 a piece for 100 watts right now. And I bought all the connectors and everything to go with it, learned how to do that. And one of the things that we discovered was that we bought little racks to put them on. But those racks, every single time we use them, we had to set it up. We had to put bolts in those racks. It took us an hour just to set up or take down the solar panels. The longer we live, the more we are realizing that we need to streamline our personal energy expenditure if we are going to have a happy life. So we just decided that the Bluetti solar panels were worth the extra money, and boy, are they ever. I set the 400, we got, with this one, we got a 420 watt set that's all one unit. It took me exactly 5 minutes to set it up and get it connected. And we're going to show you that right now. And then we'll go into the garage and we're going to try powering our freezers with all of these to see what the results are. And if we have power backup, that will save us in a long-term power outage. So let's head outside. So this is the Bluetti 420 watt solar panel array. Thank you. That's perfect. And it took me, Jim was gone on errands, and so I set this up myself. It took me, once I had the tarp down, because I don't want it to get on the dirt, it took me 5 minutes to set it up. So this folds over on this side, this one folds over on this side, then they fold up into just one unit. They have handles. It's 35 pounds, and I was able to set it up. The back has settings for 45-degree setting, 35-degree setting, and I think 55-degree setting. And so right now it's on 45. We have right now some pretty good sun, so I want to hurry. So it has a little pouch in the back that holds this cable. This cable splits off into male and female MC4 connectors. Now right over here, this is so simple to connect, male to female, until it snaps. And now we just follow these cables into the garage. Okay, so here's baby blue. I'm going to connect again with the MC4 connectors. So we're now powering it with solar. It is 99% charged already. I'm going to unplug the big freezer to see if it will run the big freezer. All right, this one is not powerful to run the refrigerator, so I'm going to replace it. I'm pulling out the solar power, pulling out the freezer plug, setting this one aside, and we are bringing Jim's in. Okay. Solar power. We're already at about 100%, so let's see if it's going to pull anything. Not pulling anything. All right, so this one is now pulling 108 watts. That is very low for a 420 watt panel, but it is mid-afternoon. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's slightly overcast, so that probably is about right. So now I'm going to plug in the freezer. Okay, so over here we have, with our solar panels coming in to recharge the battery, 162 watts. Output from the big freezer right here is 116, 115. Now I'm going to plug in the second freezer, and that jumped it up almost 100, so we're pulling 208. We're refilling at the rate of 174. Now earlier this afternoon, this was filling up at 335 watts. So it's going to depend on the day and the sun. It's going to depend on the sun availability. And we can run both of these freezers for 27.9 hours, pulling at their constant rate right now. So this would give us time to run for a full 24-hour period, even though it's only filling up at 167 watts right now. But then we could switch out and go to Big Blue. Big Blue will run both of these, no trouble at all. I was going to close out the video out in the garage, but the lighting was really bad. It was way dark. So we decided to come back in here, back into the kitchen where it's nice and light, and I can talk about this just a little bit more. I love this. We've only had it a couple of days. We took it out of the packaging last night, and I tried a few things with it. And this was the first time that we have used the 420 watt solar array by Blue Eddy as well. I am so thrilled with both of the packages that we got on Black Friday. We now know that we can run this at least 24 hours. When it was pulling about 205 watts, it would go, even though the input was like 167 watts, because it's kind of overcast and it's getting later in the afternoon. The best time is from about 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock for solar, although we would run it as long as we had any input coming in if the grid were down. But I watched several videos, YouTube people talking about this, people that I trust in terms of, I learned a lot about solar from them when I was first learning solar. And this is just the rage on the internet right now. People who know a whole lot more about solar than I do are reviewing this, and everybody is giving it their top rating, saying that this is an amazing package. And so I'm very thrilled, and that helps support our decision of why we decided to buy this Bluetti. Jim and I were talking the other day, and we were trying to estimate the dollar value of the food that we have out there in those two freezers. And we think it probably is close to about $2,000, just rough estimate. That's dollar value. However, the value of that food in terms of needing 60 days of meals in the event that the grid goes down, and if there is not availability of other food that we could go and replace that with if something happened, far exceeds that $2,000 value. It's invaluable. And so making an investment in something like this to preserve that food for a time if it's needed and things are going really south, there's just no substituting for being able to have a backup for our freezers and in the house with our refrigerator. And so that's what our main concern was in doing this. So we really appreciate and are grateful for having a family of these Bluetti portable power stations that we can put anywhere in the house where we need it, particularly safeguarding our food in our freezers. And so for us, it has been really worth the investment, and we have not done it all at one time. We would not have been able to do that. So watching for sales, and as time goes by, adding another one, and then a little bit later adding another one, and then having the reassurance from people I trust on the internet that this is really good equipment, as my dad would say. This really goes to our own personal self-reliance, and we're very grateful that we were able to do that at this time. So I hope that helps stimulate some ideas for how you might figure out how you can also run a backup for your freezer and refrigerator. And there are certainly other brands besides Bluetti, but be sure that you do a thorough research and comparison with other things, and then make wise choices. So that's it for today's video, and we hope this was really helpful to you. And we will see you very soon for more videos.